All right, everybody, welcome back to Madhouse Unfiltered, episode 5, part 2, with Mr. Charlie Curry. So we're just going to pretty much just dive right back into it here. So we kind of left off on, we ended talking about your Stadium Stock 50 win and right at the end of your 2002 championship season. So after 2002, at some point between there, you kind of took a break from racing.
I sold out in 05.
That's right.
02 was the last year I ran the Bug. 03 I started running my Ford. I sold out, like I said, in 05. I know I just said that, but I did run a few races here and there, different people. Mm-hmm. Drove for Jason. In 2010, I guess it was 2010, 2011, I started driving for Jimmy Absher. He had a car that Randy Butner at the school up at Forsyth Tech had built, and he brought it down here. We finished it, and I ran, maybe it was middle of 2010 when we made it to the racetrack first time, and we ran the 2011 season. And 2012 we were I don't know, we were kind of Jimmy is his cars, and he was the man, he was the main driver, and that's the way we wanted to look at it. And Jimmy had an accident at work and had to have some surgery on his arm, and he was pretty much out of commission till the end of August, I guess it was August, and it was probably, I can't remember, I know Jimmy could tell you the date, but we pretty much went in there with, he had a pretty big sponsorship with K&W Cafeteria, and I told him, I tried to tote the weight the best I could, and started off the year with a second place finish. I do remember that, and it seemed like we stayed up in the top of the points the whole year. And
that's good. And then, it's kind of walk me through your 2012 season and how kind of everything played out. Were you expecting to compete for the championship that year, or did everything just kind of fall into your hands?
Well, no, I mean, racing against AJ and Chuck, you don't never, nothing falls into your hands. I mean, I do know that if I remember correctly, I can't remember how many points I had going into the last race, but I had quite a few over AJ, and then I think AJ ended up breaking or something in the last race, and like I said, I know I kind of got caught up, got turned around there, and Chuck was up the top 3 or 4, and it tightened the points up quite a bit, but I don't know what the point spread was at the end, but that was how it ended up.
That's good. And so after your 2012 season, kind of what happened, did you come back at all after that, or did you?
I went 5 years and didn't even go to Bowman Gray Stadium.
Really?
And that kind of leads into, Blaine was playing travel baseball and going to Florida and Georgia and playing all over North and South Carolina, and we were doing a lot of that. I didn't get to go a lot to Florida, but I think I went to Georgia a couple times, and I did get to go to Florida once, I believe. But I walked away and figured I didn't need the distractions of being at the racetrack, but pretty much, I went basically 5 years, didn't go. I mean, I kept up with it. I mean, I knew what was going on. It's kind of hard not to. I mean, you can't. Right. It's probably one of the worst drugs there ever was.
That's right. And so, talking about Blaine here a little bit. So when did he start getting behind the wheel?
20? Maybe 19. Probably he practiced some, I think maybe 19. And then COVID year, we went, I think, first race Blaine actually ever run, we went to Dillon. And he's come a long way since that trip, that's for sure. Chuck, we'd built that car for Chuck and stuff, and he had, we call it the NP. I'm not going to tell why, but if you know, you know. And I brought it in here and worked on it, and we bought a motor from Tyler Burke, and I guess that's what we took to Dillon. And 20 come along, and we didn't race. I guess 21 we run. I think Blaine ran 3 or 4 races.
Yeah. Okay.
And I had started on building a new car, this car, and told Blaine that if we're gonna get it done, I said we're gonna run the next year or whatever, and he kept it down where he could run for Rookie of the Year, so, and that worked out. 22, I guess.
That's good. Were you nervous for Blaine to start racing, or were you responsible?
Not nowhere as near as much as his mother. She's pretty nervous about it, but like I was nowhere near as nervous with him in a race car as I would have been watching him standing on a pitching mound and the ball coming back at him. That was nerve-wracking, but I've never been nervous about him in a race car. I mean, he listens very well. He does a lot of, I think, smart stuff. We have a communication barrier a lot of times, but I think we're getting better about that. I think he understands, after being involved in it for 3 or 4 years, when I tell him something, and whether it's right or wrong, or there's a reason behind it, and I think he understands it.
Right. And I know he's taken this year off pretty much to focus on some stuff in his personal life.
We still going to do a few races here and there.
That's good.
Not maybe at the stadium. I mean, he don't really want to run the stadium, but
And are you racing this weekend for the 50?
No, I'm
not?
I decided I'm gonna, after seeing a couple cars get tore up last week, and got to thinking I'd just be best just to leave this sitting on jack stands this week, and I don't know. I'm not gonna say I'm probably done for the year, but we may go to practice or something, but I got no intentions on racing anytime soon.
That's good. So, is there anything that you're still chasing and racing at all, or are you focusing all your attention towards Blaine at this point?
No, I've done everything that I've ever really wanted to do. I mean, I've been very blessed with success. I mean, you always, you hear this story, everybody says, well, when you leave the house, you want to feel like you're going to win the race. And, I've always felt like I could win. There's been times when I left the house, I didn't feel good about it, but we had to go race, so you win anyway. And it wasn't that I felt like we was going to do bad. It's just like, it didn't feel right. But you still went, and you always do. I mean, racing is, like I said, you got to put your heart into it.
So, kind of just starting to wrap up here. So, who would you consider to be most influential to your success as a driver?
My dad. He was pretty much a kind of like I try to be for Blaine. I try to be very knowledgeable about what I do. When I don't know something, I tell him that. And my dad was a lot like that, but he said we'll figure it out, But yeah, my dad he loved racing, and it was brought to me and my brother and sister. I mean, we were all raised in the racing. I mean, it was nothing to get took out of school on a Friday to go to North Wilkesboro to watch qualifying, or go to Martinsville. And, we was a racing-oriented family.
Right. So this is more of a question from Justin Mincy. I grabbed all the stats and everything from him. So who would you consider to be kind of your Mount Rushmore stadium stock drivers at the stadium?
Far as the guys that I've raced with, Randy Moore and Johnny Burt definitely need to be on the top of the list. Mount Rushmore's only 4, so we'll say I'm gonna throw one in there that's gonna kind of probably throw everybody for a loop. But I'm gonna tell you what, Mitch Gales was probably one of the hardest working guys at the racetrack. He has always been a real good friend of mine. A lot of people might not see it, but when he run 4-cylinder, he was really competitive. When he started in Sportsman, he was very competitive. Things have changed and things have advanced, and he struggles a little bit sometimes now, but sometimes he'll get it working and it works. So, I'd like to think Mitch is up there on my list, and of course Chuck. You're not going to find nobody that works any harder on a race car than Chuck Wall. Never satisfied, always trying to find something. Me and him, if I had $1 for the hour, for every hour that I have spent on the phone with Chuck Wall in the last 10, 12 years, we'd have enough to go party for a pretty good while. I mean, you can ask Christy and you can ask Wendy, and that's Christy's Chuck's wife. But we get on the phone, we'll talk for 2 hours. And I mean, it might even happen tonight. And the funny thing about it is, we could go eat supper together, and an hour and a half later, one of us texts the other one, "What you doing?" And the phone rings, we call each other. And I mean, we talk quite often. And we spend quite a bit of time together as far as working on race cars.
And he's getting pretty close to your record as well. You have 34 wins, he's at 33.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to that. I like to see records broke. It's going to be hard for anybody to catch AJ. I mean, he's still putting them down, and it's hard to beat him. But I'd like to see Chuck get on up there. Chuck's a one of a kind, that's for sure. He's the man tore up his car Saturday night. I know for a fact he got home and unloaded it Saturday night. He didn't wait till Sunday morning. I know how he is. Sunday morning he gets up. I got over there a little after lunch because I had some stuff to do, and he had the front suspension completely out of it, the motor out of it, and by 6 o'clock Sunday night, we had the front end pretty much back where it would roll. I mean, it wasn't done. There was still quite a bit to do, but I think he's pretty much got it about finished up now. But I mean, the car was hurt pretty bad, and I mean, we offered him a car. He's got a car. I'm pretty sure Brandon Brindle offered him a car. I mean, he was bound and determined. He's taking the car he's been running back, and if it don't work, we'll back up and pump. But
yeah, that's a good testament too to kind of the family atmosphere that's at the track. Is if somebody's down, you got three guys willing to pick up the slack.
Adam's been over there quite a bit this week, and so I mean, Adam's a good dude. He spends quite a bit of time over there with him. So
that's good. Well, is there any more funny stories that you can tell on camera at least before we wrap it up here?
I can't think of nothing.
Can't think of nothing. Okay. Well, one more question for you. This is kind of a question that's on everybody's mind here. So when are you bringing back the Bug?
I will say never, but I will say not in the near future. I've got everything to put it back together. I've got probably still got 3 motors here. One's in a car that's Blaine's and street car, but I got enough stuff back here in the filing cabinets to put a couple together. I just don't foresee it happening anytime soon. I don't think it would be competitive. It's just there's
just day and age, yeah.
Well, cars have picked up so much, and I don't think it would be worth the effort.
Yeah. Plus, I think I'm looking at it right now. It's got a tree sticking up through it, so you probably need a couple chainsaws to get it out. So
I got a chainsaw.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you again for being on. And
no problem.
I know part 1, part 2 was a little weird though, with some technical issues, but I appreciate you being flexible. So I'll just give you an opportunity here to think about anybody you need to thank as far as sponsors, family, whoever you can think of.
We're going to do some sponsors here. Greg Butcher, good guy, a really good friend of mine. Infinity Insurance Group, Ryan's Detailing, Little Donuts, Gordon's Radiator Service, Lindley Plumbing, John Baker Plumbing, Sass Seeding, Messer Media, and Family Tire. That's pretty much everything that needs to be taken care of. I want to, as far as the guys that help and stuff, first things, all through the years for me, I have to say Wendy's put up with me for 30 years doing this stuff, and she might gripe a little bit, but she never actually really completely complains about it. I spend a lot of time out here in the shop, and I think after being married almost 30 years, I think that's probably one of the ways we could stay married. But Blaine and Branson and Jordan, Branson and Jordan pretty much helped Blaine, and they've kind of helped with me trying to run a little bit. But like I said, can't really think of nobody else at the moment.
That's good. All right, well, like I said, I appreciate you again coming back on here. And I appreciate everybody for tuning back in here for part 2. So stay tuned here for Madhouse Unfiltered, presented by MJ Printing and Graphics. We'll have our next episode announced by the end of next week. And just like and subscribe for more, and we'll see you at the next one. Thank you, guys.